The Jewish law discusses the issue of ransom payments at length because kidnappings for ransom were commonplace in the ancient world. Also, sometimes our unfriendly neighbors were stealing Jews to make certain demands on their communities. Sometimes people were ending up in debt prison. Redeeming captives in all of those scenarios, the Torah tells us, is the greatest mitzvah. It is said that if a community does not have the money it needs to redeem its captive, they should sell even their Torah scroll for it. But at the same time, the sages discuss what demands can be met and under what circumstances. For Jews, this issue was especially important to understand because, on one hand, Jews were kidnapped more often than others, since in many countries they were not protected by the local authorities. And on the other hand, while in prison, Jews were treated, of course, worse than others. So now, when terrorists are taking hostages, we need to return to those books again. When Israeli representative Eilon Levy spoke on British TV Sky News, the television host, Kay Burley, told him that Israel's exchange of one Jew for 3 Arabs means that Israel values the lives of Arabs 3 times less than the lives of Jews. You should have seen Eilon Levy's face. I promise you, we would be happy to trade 1 for 1. Hamas doesn't want, he said. But I actually think that maybe this just shows that Hamas values Jewish lives 3 times higher than they value Arab lives. We need to come to them with this complaint. But a very real question that arises is, at what cost can hostages be returned? When paying ransom, the Jewish law says that we cannot pay more than the usual price they pay for a person. Societies where people were kidnapped on a regular basis had standards of cost. If it will be known that Jews will pay any money for their people, then they will be kidnapping only Jews. So from this perspective, it seems like we can only exchange 1 Israeli for 1 terrorist. But it is said that this standard does not apply to a situation where the life of the Jewish captive is in danger, which is obviously the case here. And Hamas uses every opportunity to kidnap Jews anyway. The number of terrorists released will not affect their efforts. But a question arises from the fact that the terrorists who are released from Israeli prisons again go to kill and kidnap Jews. So are we allowed to rescue hostages at the cost of more terrorism in the future? The Jewish law draws a clear line between a specific danger and a theoretical danger. We should always try to avert immediate threat, even if it is done at the cost of a potential threat in the future. And terrorists returning is a potential threat. The former chief rabbi of Israel, Ovadia Yosef, long ago ruled that besides for that, we must do everything to rescue Jewish hostages because it is necessary for the morale of the army and of the country as a whole. Every Jew should know that our people will never leave him or her behind or abandon him or her in danger.